tired of women.
That's no good. This
Clap for that, you stupid bastard.
to front basket.
Okay, we're live.
Hi.
What's up?
With me?
Yeah, what's up with you? Anything new?
Not really.
We live
no.
together, so there's not much new that can happen to you that I wouldn't know about.
I didn't get the job I wanted.
That's true. That's fucked. Did we talk about like the chronicling of that on the podcast yet?
I don't think so, no.
Like when you applied and stuff?
Maybe kind of, sort of. I don't think so, though.
Jordan applied for a job at a place I used to work. So like they would have known you, they've met you, for like a sound tech job.
Mm-hmm.
Basically like lead sound engineer at this place, which you're entirely qualified for. Your application.
You helped me write.
I helped write it. So we did the resume and cover letter.
I've not done that in over 12 years.
And I had to do it very recently for a class I'm in.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you're a senior. You need to get fucking ready. Like, have at least the bare bones of a resume. So I had to do it very recently. So I'm very fresh on this. I've had a resume for a long time. I've maintained it for quite a while too, because I've applied for like so many. Oh my God, there's another beetle in here.
There's another one over there too.
Oh my God, they're everywhere. These giant
maybe that one
ass.
moved. I don't know. Yeah.
He's on the door frame here. We have these stink bug beetles, but they have never stunk up our house. We've never done anything to upset them.
I don't want to really like tempt them, so they do. Just,
do you mind if I keep telling the story?
Yeah, of course.
So, I've written many a resume for myself. Are you gonna use my crystal glassware? You can use my crystal, my special crystal. Oh God, I'm so nervous about this. These beetles, they fly and they're not like big. They're like the size of like a dime, but
Do it calmly.
yeah, if you do it calmly, they won't stink you up. But anyways, I helped him write his resume. It was immaculate. Cover letter, immaculate. Cover letters are so easy too. They literally just have to be like a paragraph and 3 bullet points. That's it. Or a split paragraph. Half a paragraph, 3 bullet points, half a paragraph. That's it. That's all your cover letter should be. But the person he submitted the application to, which is this woman whose name is a lot like the restaurant chain Denny's. It's spelled very similarly.
Which makes it more annoying, actually.
More annoying that you got rejected by Denny's. They didn't. She claims she never got your follow-up call, but that also means that she didn't notice your application and resume come in. It's so stupid. So
she was never planning on
So yeah, so she filled the position without even contacting anybody who applied, because she probably already had somebody in mind for the job.
Yeah, this is like proper depressed me for the last like week and a half.
Yeah, it's fucking sucked. And look, like now it might be best that we never go back to that place.
Why will we?
Yeah,
honestly,
it's a chapter in my life that I spent 3 years there, and like I'm ready to close that chapter.
What's kind of wild is like I kind of imagined that the person that you worked for, that we did kind of talk about this, I think, like where
I vaguely remember
I talked to this person at a party who, what's her role there?
Director of marketing.
Yeah. And then she was like, we need a new sound person. I was like, I don't really do live sound on the scale. Yeah. Like I really downplayed like what I knew how to do, even though I kind of realized after the fact, like, yeah, I probably could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I basically have done this role before. But then she texted you and insisted that I apply.
Yeah.
I think she's as mad as we are.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Because HR departments at companies are the most redundant.
Awful. They're useless.
Nepotistic. I mean, like, you know, like she probably, we know what Denny's did. She hired somebody she already knew.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so she was tasked with putting the application form on the website for this theater. But she already knew who she was going to hire. Like she
yeah,
knew it
for
already.
sure. I think like they have to cover their bases and put up the open job listing, so that it's not like it's not explicitly an inside job of like hiring somebody that they already know.
Indeed.
You know, they have to like make it fair enough to everybody who wants to apply, which is really upsetting. It was very stupid, and you know, at this point we know that you deserve better, because if they're not even willing to return your call, why would you want to work there in the first place?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But
like,
it's still gonna suck.
Yeah, they're
and,
like, well,
and
they're
we
like,
can be bitter bunnies about it for the next, couple weeks.
yeah, I'm gonna give myself like 4 more days. But like,
Yeah.
but it is this thing of like, like things like this. It's just like, like what is kind of the point? Like, because I don't know, like, me wanting this job was totally dictated by my entire livelihood being taken away by the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And then we see these massive strikes across the entire country, right? And we talked about
Across the world. I
Yeah.
mean, France, Italy, fucking some Asian countries too. Like,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Like, so this IATSE thing in the U.S., which is like entertainment type union, is striking. I think that like the low estimate is like 64,000 people. It'll be more for sure. And it's like, I'm trapped in that bubble too of like, people are squeezing us out. And like, this job where you used to work would not be very difficult. Most of the people that are patrons there are the octogenarians that are making policy that dictate our lives, which is like kind of like as a side note, I've been telling people that age who have strong opinions about the world, please stop.
Yeah.
Stop
talking, stop complaining, stop voting. You are going to die before the next election.
Right.
Like, this is not for you.
Yes.
Things that old people don't need, voting rights.
So, I mean,
It's not for you.
And this was something we watched this morning, which I thought was like, Jesus.
Oh, no. Maybe the battery's dying? Or it's probably just asleep. Oh, yes, this. This is Nancy Pelosi, of course.
Speaking of octogenarians.
Dude, her being 80 fucking years
refusal
old.
to support a suspension of the debt limit now is cynical, hypocritical, and downright dangerous. As Mitch McConnell himself has said about the need to address the debt limit,
God.
this is what he said last time. Don't play Russian roulette with our economy. Quote. Yet that is exactly what he is doing, playing Russian roulette. Interesting that he's playing Russian roulette with our economy.
I will
and with
kill
the
myself.
Financial security and the well-being.
So this, like,
If given the opportunity, I would kill myself before Congress.
it's important. Me too. Like, literally, like, harikiri, like, in front of it. Like,
Yeah,
just-
seppuku, like,
yeah, I
just
mean,
guts, entrails everywhere. I want to soil that room.
and, like,
Yeah, she
What-
is drunk, Gio.
yeah, no,
Always.
always. Yeah, always
Interesting
drunk. And
Russian
I'll get into something
roulette.
later that you've actually not seen. So you'll do something that I haven't seen, and I'll do something you haven't seen.
I'm very excited.
So yeah, I mean, so she doesn't believe that it's Russia. Like she doesn't. But like, what audience is she playing to?
Yeah.
Anymore? And so it's like, dude, I am just, I don't know. I'm just done. So I have to wait, I guess, until I'm 45 and these people are all dead, and then just kind of see what the next generation will do. Like, I don't really see a way around this because, yeah, like, I mean, that was crazy to watch her do that, and she was so fucking chuffed with herself. Like, she was like,
She nailed it, crushed it, just absolutely. She's just like, yeah, I'm showing him who's boss.
And when you're somebody who is of the age that has to deal with this economy right now, you're just like, you stupid old cunt, will you get out of the way?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah. But she's talking to our poor neighbor over here who listens to thousands of hours.
I know. And I just saw him walking PETA, and he's so sweet.
He's so lovely, but you hear Rachel Maddow, because he's deaf. Totally deaf.
I tried talking to him and I had to like yell at him, like, because he was talking about PETA and he was like, that dog is so funny, and you have to carry him up and down the stairs. Does he just not want to do it? And I was like,
He can't.
he can't. He's 10 years old.
He's also as old as you. Like, you know.
I know, he's as old as you.
See your life force leaving you as fast as this dog. Like, just understand that, like, and again, you know, if I was this guy's age, and he is so lovely and so sweet, and this goes to my parents, who are also so old. Well, my mother is a very sweet person, but like, just please. I even told this to her face. I'm like, please stop, like, because she wants to talk about coronavirus, and every time she wears a mask, it's a you know, she's virtuous because she does, and it's like, and then if I push back on, the mask isn't the issue. Like, just please stop dictating policy for us. And like, this Joe Rogan thing was actually kind of an interesting sort of thing, where you had Sanjay Gupta on, who is the resident, you know, beige enough doctor who goes on CNN and like does this because
I'd say he's pretty brown. He's a Indian American. Is he? Indian,
yeah, no, he's like,
lives
Sanjay
here?
Gupta is the most Indian fucking name on the planet. I mean, like, at the very minimum, he's
Beige
Pakistani,
enough.
but like, the point is that like, white liberals love a brown doctor telling them like what to do.
Yeah, I grew up with a brown doctor, Dr. Ouija, great doctor.
Yeah,
very smart.
Ouija,
Dr. Ouija. It was Ouija Telecki. This is his last name, but everybody just called him Dr. Ouija.
So they would love someone like him. Like, but it's important to keep in mind, like, you know, Ben Carson was also a fucking doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But these people that would love Sanjay Gupta would hate Ben Carson because of his political ideals.
Yes.
And Ben Carson sucked. The amount of times that guy was borderline falling asleep during the Republican primary.
Yeah.
And also, apparently, is literally a child neurosurgeon. I would not really want this guy operating on my child's brain.
No way.
So just let's all be fucking honest here. Like, but it you know, Sanjay Gupta is the most like sort of amenable, flimsy in his morals type of person on the planet. And like Joe Rogan is a fucking moron. I'll make that very clear. Like, you know, and I don't really even say that in a way that I'm like trying to disparage him as a person. It's mostly just that like he thinks he's more curious than he is, and says dumb shit constantly. And I don't really know sometimes if he says the dumb shit he says because he's attempting to, you know, not have the show end with people he's talking to or whatever. But there were so many times during this Sanjay Gupta interview where I'm just like, tell him to fist fuck himself. Like, you don't have to be friends with this guy anymore. So I hope that our generation gets a Joe Rogan that is as popular. It might be Tim Dillon, like, as years go by, that just doesn't really care if they're friends with the people they're interviewing, like, after it ends.
Yeah.
And so, and people would say, okay, like, you know, why would Sanjay Gupta go on Joe Rogan's show if it wasn't a friendly and non-combative interview? Well, what this whole thing proved is that Joe Rogan's audience is at a minimum 10 times the size of CNN's.
Yeah.
They're like, and so Sanjay Gupta called Joe's people to be like, I insist on being on your show. And so, yeah, I mean, like, many of you have probably seen it where he pushed him to death of like, why would your fucking people on your stupid fucking network keep calling this medication I took horse dewormer, like saying it was dangerous when it has been given to over 1 billion people and they've not died, like, from this medication. Like, this medication won the inventor the Nobel Prize. So that was the big takeaway. The one that I found really fucking interesting was Sanjay Gupta was insisting that we should vaccinate kids that are 6 to 12 years old. And what bothers me about this is boys, young boys, like, that are like in the puberty age. The myocarditis
yeah.
thing is serious. COVID for their age group not serious.
Yeah.
And so, like, the thing that Joe Rogan actually backed them into a corner on is, like, Sanjay Gupta's only explanation was that the kids will then not spread it to the adults. And then he told him, well, you got vaccinated, and so you can still get it. Mm-hmm. So what is really the point of doing this? Like, why would you take the risk of giving these kids this vaccination that could fuck their heart up permanently? And then Sanjay Gupta had to go like, well, COVID might do the same thing, but I don't fucking know. And so we have been just mercilessly beaten with trust the science. And it's like, maybe these fucking people we have lauded as gods, so much so that Disney Plus would make a fucking documentary about that stupid fucking Muppet Guido Fauci. Like, this is what we're doing now. And so Joe Rogan, who I said is an idiot, came across to me as also an idiot, as smarter than CNN's fucking resident doctor. That I honestly think that Fauci has like sort of, you know, accelerated himself to the top of white woman liberal trust. But like the secondary force would have to be a fucking Indian guy. Like there's just no, like, it's so, it goes to this Hillary Clinton thing that like you're going to get into. Like it just, everything is so fucking fake. Like nothing is real. And I asked you this morning when we saw this clip of Pelosi, it's like, who watches this and goes, slay queen,
right,
when she does this? Like, who is this person? I would love to know and literally beat them to death. Because, like, this has been, like, my argument to you the whole time. Is it's, like, to Denny's, to, like, these people, like, is Denny's advancing the arts?
Absolutely not.
So,
no.
What is her purpose on this planet? Other than to collect a fucking 6-figure salary,
yeah, of course,
pretending to be somebody who gives a shit about it.
Yeah.
So, like, Dr. Fauci is the highest paid government employee. Like, he had the time to make a documentary for Disney Plus, ABC, History Channel. Like, they're all the same fucking company now. We have no human on the planet liked it. Nobody wanted it. And again, too, like, even to the people that theoretically may have liked the documentary, why would you not see him making it today as the same as Cuomo's victory fucking book?
Dude,
do I just need,
yeah.
Do we need more time? Like, that's what's making me crazy. It's like, I knew Cuomo was going to fucking melt down in flames fucking 2 years ago almost at this point. How much longer do people need for Fauci? How much longer? That this fucking asshole caused this. But is the one through which, like, every health policy we have is dictated by this fucking retard. Also the same fucking retard as two gay guys who said, you know, like, that touching a person with AIDS would give it to the other person. So, like, and it took someone who was not a scientist, Princess Diana, shaking the hands of a totally fucking dying AIDS patient in a wheelchair to prove that this was not the case. And it caused national fucking headlines, and you bet that Guido had a fucking ton to say about it.
Yeah.
So, why? And where was this guy? Where was he prior to 1985? Where did he come from? Mm-hmm. And so, and then even though there was some fucking ground that was accomplished with Sanjay Gupta talking to Joe Rogan, he immediately that night after went on fucking Don Lemon's show and just literally eviscerated any goodwill he had made.
Oh my God.
For someone like me personally. I mean, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but it's like, you know, so I was in the lion's den. I had to say what I had to say. You know, totally just eviscerated it. So
yeah. Neon Oni wants to know why you hate Italians so much.
Because I am one, and I know they're
a literal dual citizen speaking about Italians.
Yeah, no, they're the worst. Like we should not at all dictate policy or in politics. Like
enough Italians. Nancy Pelosi, Italian.
And literally
made a name D'Alessandro.
So think about the two Italians that I mentioned, like, that I can name so many, right?
Yeah.
Like, you see the genetic problem with Italians, and I am one, is that they are convincing, but also way more interested in self-enriching.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi has become a multi-millionaire in politics. Dr. Fauci didn't think it might be a bad idea.
Dr. Fauci has a higher salary than the president. Technically. Anyways, it might be a good idea.
These, honestly, because it's not even a knock on Italians. We are fantastic grifters. I mean, the most fake business, fantastic fucking people on the planet. And so, like, but to anybody else that isn't it, like, can you name an Italian that has not self-enriched himself in politics? Like, de Blasio is, like, literally doing the most fucking woke, stupid shit. Well, he's German. He's not even fucking Italian.
He's cosplaying as an Italian.
Yeah.
Which,
like,
why would you want to be one?
But Cuomo, I mean, like, all these fucking people, it's like Cuomo self-congratulates, like, so, like, PR campaign, because we are performers. Like, we have big hands and just, and, like, all this movement. So, like, and the public is apparently stupid, so we can wave our little, yes, this is very important to me.
Super convincing.
I kiss everyone on the mouth because I'm Italian kind of shit, which he probably would have gotten away with about a year and a half ago. So it's, but at the same time, killing a ton of people in nursing homes because he was backdoor funneling money through his donors. And so it's like, this is what Italians do. Name me one that doesn't.
Well, look, like, Americans are so impressionable, and they're so suggestible, and Italians are very suggestive. So we are like a match made in heaven for falling victim to the ploys of an Italian man. And that's just our culture versus theirs, you know?
And what do they do when they're desperate? They call themselves a person of color.
That's right, yeah. They've got a little bit of oregano, a little bit of basil in their blood.
But I'm not even joking. Like, you've seen that actually happen. I mean, like, that's what Cuomo tried to do. He tried to make it about a cultural difference where he was misunderstood.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he really tried to make it about, like, I'm a black guy. Is like what he tried to say. For real. Like, and this is why don't let them in politics anymore.
Yeah, they're done. They don't belong in American politics. Joy Behar.
Well, yeah.
Like, another grifter.
Well, a Jew grifter. I mean, she claimed...
No, Behar is Italian.
I know.
She's not Jewish.
But God damn it, could she be a more public representation of an annoying yenta? I mean, honestly.
We talked about...
No, I know she's not actually Jewish. But, like, she literally is the personification publicly of a stage actor playing an annoying fucking teased red-haired Jew woman. I mean, like, it's in, like, I'm not even saying that to be a dick to Jews. It's like obvious, like, be frustrated at this. It's fucking Jewish blackface. I mean, like, let's be real. Like, and she makes you all look bad. So, like, her and Ben Shapiro should just fuck.
Oh my God.
Pay-per-view make out with each other and like, I don't know. Ben doesn't have parts, so they could just scissor each other until they come to completion. I don't know. Yeah.
I loved it. I mean, like, back in the day, weren't Italians and Irish, they were, like, oppressed.
No, like, but like, yeah, no, absolutely. But you know, and then Italians do what they do, and the Irish are not good at this. But it's like, okay, like, they find an opportunity. Prohibition, fantastic. We will give people alcohol because they want it anyway. And the more illegal you make something, we will exploit it. Mm-hmm. And they did. So why would you know about someone like Al Capone? Like, the mafia the mafia existed in Italy fucking generations ago. Yeah. But it infiltrated the U.S. because they found the fucking snake-like opportunity to weasel in here. Yeah. And murder indiscriminately. I mean, so, yeah. I mean, like, they found a fucking... And I'm not even, like, giving that a dig. I give them credit of, like, okay, bitch, you don't like us? Fine. We'll become the most important people in pop culture forever. And they did it. And so... The Irish just like to bomb shit. Like, I mean, like, you know, they don't really, like... There's no, like... sexiness to their terrorism. The Italians, like the Ferrari and the tailored suit, they are just better at this. And so I don't know what it must be culture. It must be something.
I think so.
But we have so many old Italians dictating public policy. Enough.
Enough of it. Incredible. This is someone clipped that. Someone cut that up into Jordan's famous Italian rant. That was great.
Yeah, I guess.
I know you're actually angry, but it was the subject matter of that was itself quite.
Do you want to move on to a fucking honorary Italian, which is?
Oh yeah.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and
I'm kind of retarded.
So I watched. Thank you, Gio, for actually tweeting about this podcast. I forgot it existed because we covered it when it first came out that Hillary Clinton was starting a podcast.
Which is like why we have that clip. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I'm Hillary Clinton is from her podcast You and Me Both, which don't get me started on the fucking psychology of that title. So Hillary has this podcast, You and Me Both, and she did her season 2 finale episode back in May. This is an episode from back in May, actually. Yeah, so this episode, I mean, she's done a few episodes since then, but she did an episode with James Corden. And these two people, like, we hate.
The worst, like, honestly, the worst. Like, I mean, literally.
We hate them both so much.
If they were married, they would be, like, the distillation of neoliberal, like, couple. I mean, like, you know, so. At least Bill, like, was, I don't know, had some kind of power. But anyway, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So I'm going to pull up my notes from this. Basically, so as all podcasts are, they start with ads. This one had 2 of the exact same ad play back-to-back at the very beginning. Where's the quality control?
Well, it's like us watching ABC. I mean, like, you know, they were probably
it was literally back-to-back. Like, it was Mario Lopez going, "Hi, I'm Mario Lopez." And do you want to know what the ad was? It was an ad for. So he started off with like, "Are you tired of misinformation spreading online? Are you being misled by other things like to make you dislike things that you don't want to dislike, but you used to like? Like I feel the same way. I would never dislike my family, but blah 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 blah. Misinformation.
I would like to be not misled so much by Mario Lopez, like where he just admitted he's fucking gay.
He's gay. Yeah.
For the love of God, like so. Already we're off to a bad start.
Can you guess what the ad is for? What the ad is?
Privacy software, maybe?
Arguably, it's worse. Oh, this ad, so he finishes off like, well, now with this new endeavor by this company, misinformation will be spread less and less. Thanks to Got Milk. Got Milk
what?
Has a misinformation ad. He says, because of Got Milk, we now can rely on the news we see online more than ever. And it's like, Got Milk? Got Milk, the campaign, the ad campaign, the failed very successful ad campaign that got people to drink milk, cow's milk, back in like the 90s and 2000s.
Right. The same campaign that literally pushed it so hard because they had like, it was like non-fat milk, and then like, you also had simultaneously the cheese campaign because non-fat milk was in vogue. Like, yeah, because like they had all the fat. They're like, what do we do? Render it cheese.
You make cheese.
Yeah.
A Got Milk ad played back to back about spreading of misinformation.
How was it connected?
No fucking clue.
Were they donating something?
I think so. I think it was like Got Milk, like advertising themselves as like somebody who's anti-misinformation.
What were they donating? Like they have to have been donating something. Let me figure it out.
I can actually find the ad here. It's literally right at the start of the podcast. It's so fucking weird. Like, here, I'm gonna pull this all the way back to the beginning here.
And I partnered with Got Milk to promote their latest campaign.
Did he say Got Milk?
Got Milk. Yeah, he did.
I'm gonna see if there's a description here that links to it.
Yeah.
Is there not a fuck? How do I see the description of this episode? I guess you.
Okay. Neononi says Mario Lopez, Oscar De La Hoya, gay, a very rare Mexican type of gay. Yeah. Well, not really. I mean, I don't know. He is just so flamingly gay, But apparently, like during the Me Too stuff, like he skated, apparently being very molestery. Like, towards a ton of women. So I don't know. I don't know what the world doesn't again. Nothing's real.
No, yeah, of course.
Everything's fake business.
Anyways, Got Milk. There's more to this.
Encouraging Californians to never doubt what they love, just like I never doubt my intuition. With misinformation everywhere, even the most wholesome things are being called into question. Got Milk's encouraging you to stand by what you love, like real milk, a delicious drink packed with vitamins and nutrients. And right now, you can check out the Never Doubt Radio playlist by Got Milk with high energy beats and songs to make your day.
So Got Milk is
they're using Hillary's delusion as a way to sell milk.
Exactly.
Which
eat
through
milk, fucker.
Through TPP, her husband probably subsidized the dairy industry. I mean, it's okay.
So yeah, eat milk, motherfuckers, is what that is. So that ad plays twice in a row at the beginning, and then twice more in a row in the middle of the podcast, and then once at the very end. They play that same ad 5 times in that podcast episode, just one episode. Following that ad is an ad for immigration, which is very strange.
An ad?
Right? Yes, it's an ad promoting basically like a website that helps you assimilate. And it's like,
okay, I need more water, so I'm gonna be right
please go get some. You've
yelling.
You've been yelling. It's a lot of moisture leaving your body.
Yeah.
So the immigration ad plays twice as well, and it's called "Belonging Begins with Us." Fine, like great that they have an ad for this website, but of course it would be on this Hillary Clinton podcast episode.
Of course.
Belonging Begins with Us is what it's called. It plays twice in a row as well, and then it plays again in the middle. So this episode is just all over the place, like poorly produced. 2 of the same ads in a row twice, and then there's another ad. This is the only other unique ad that I remember. It was an ad for an Unsolved Mysteries podcast.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
women.
I was literally just gonna say I'm connecting this to women because only women listen to this Hillary Clinton podcast.
Yeah, no, there's
women and like beta cuck men.
It's like whatever the analog of every woman you meet that is just like Lena Dunham. That's the woman listening to this podcast.
Exactly. So basically, an ad for women. But as you can like probably guess, the entire episode was like a whole Hillary suckfest.
Yeah.
It was just like so they were answering questions. It was like a Q&A episode. And mind you guys, it was a 45-minute episode. About 15 minutes of it was ads. Like there was only like 30 minutes of content roughly. But it was all like people they were answering her and James fucking Corden, an expert on US politics by the way.
The cat pussy.
Fat cat pussy. So those two answering questions about American politics, and all of the questions were like just absolute like gargling her balls. Like somebody was like, Hillary, thank you so much for your incredible guidance in the recovery after 9/11. Your Paris climate accord, like that was all because of you. You're incredible. How would you, and then like the question, so all of those were like the lead-ins to the questions, and the actual question to that one, the 9/11 and Paris Climate Accord thing that they mentioned in their question was, what Broadway show do you want to see when Broadway opens back up? It's like, so 9/11, we thank her for her guidance in the recovery after 9/11. She was such a strong figure after 9/11. And then we thank her for her Paris Climate Accord, and then ask her what show she wants to see on Broadway. I do think the questions were heavily vetted.
Which
that's why they only answered 5.
Which is going to be, it actually leads us nicely into the next thing, but like you keep doing your thing, you'll see.
So and then every time Hillary would finish an answer, James would go, "Oh, that was such a great answer. I love that. That's really wonderful."
I was saying it to you this morning because like we also saw like another Hillary thing where she was talking about how she won't leave politics or something. Do you remember that? Like she was like being interviewed by someone.
Yeah, about her book. That she can't leave politics. She's so ingratiated in it that she has to stay in.
And the hosts of Rising, that like the new Rising, whatever, like even Robbie Suave, who's like an annoying, also closeted homosexual libertarian, was just so baffled that Hillary Clinton would feel this way.
Yeah.
He just couldn't even spit out any logic or rationale for it. It was just like, what is she? Why?
He was so amazed that she's even still relevant.
And she so is not.
No.
But Trump really broke her brain. And which is why in 2016 I am so glad he won. Just because it's like, it was dynastic politics realizing, okay, you can lose to a cartoon character if you don't try.
Yeah.
And what's bizarre is they've doubled down on not trying, which is like where I'm like, where is this going to lead you? I'm trying to figure that out. So, and unfortunately, Turtle Man Mitch McConnell is like equally as horrific, but at least he's had the fucking lack of hubris to like say I'm retiring.
Yeah.
Pelosi's like, I'll be here till I fucking die, I guess.
Of course, she will be. Same with fucking Dianne Feinstein and Lindsey Graham. All these people are gonna stay in for fucking ever. Obviously, during the podcast episode, there's a huge focus on women. Like Hillary answers a question because somebody asks her a question about like imposter syndrome. It's like, I don't need to hear about imposter syndrome from Hillary Clinton, but she's like, imposter syndrome, which largely really affects women. I'm like, everybody fucking experiences this, but a lot of that shit.
Like I do want to stop you there, like, because have you noticed this sort of cavalcade of pro male stuff just trending, big quotes, naturally lately? Like, it's just sort of like, that article about like men and boys not going to college. Like, that was like, I think it was like in the Washington Post and New York Times. Like, I mean, like a very liberal outlet that was just shitting on men for the last like fucking 7 years.
Yeah.
And it's like something like the tide is like kind of shifting. And so again, it's my point of even bringing that up is like, who is she talking to?
Yeah.
Is it your sister-in-law? Like
I think it is.
But
do
you
it's
even
only
think she
those
believes
people.
it anymore?
I don't know. I don't know.
If she
it's hard
does,
to say.
then she's not a very
She's
smart
kind of secluded herself, and I think those people do seclude themselves. They've had the opportunity the last 18 months to do so and just further entrench themselves in their ideologies. So I don't think they've really like woken up if they've secluded themselves. They need to rationalize that it was all worth it. That staying inside for 18 months was worth it. So they need to continually believe that they are on the right side, and they have to keep convincing themselves that they are.
They need to be ashamed at their fucking crazy lack of empathy. Mm-hmm. Like, and just be fucking honest that you were standing all over the bodies of the dead.
Yeah.
To prove a political point and not one that actually cared about human life.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of caring about human life, there's a question about national security. And Hillary's biggest issue was nuclear weaponry. And she said she wants to prevent other countries, dangerous countries, from getting nuclear weapons. It's like, so this is going to this is just to get us into more invasions and wars in other countries.
Why?
I mean, her track record shows us that.
Yeah, and he brings up like Libya, like,
yeah,
and Libya like was
in
not
sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, it's like, it's not. People don't understand. Like, most country, I don't know why it's complicated for people to understand. Like, most countries, they understand mutually assured destruction, right?
Yeah.
So all nuclear weapons is giving you a big boy seat at the table.
Exactly. You need them to have any kind of say in the way the way other countries trample over your country or not. Like, you need nuclear weapons to not be trampled.
And to me, it's hilarious that we pretend to be the arbiters of who like, we dictate who can and cannot have them. But also based on lies. I mean, like that, we invaded Iraq over a fucking lie over them. And, the people that get sold this fucking lie are the people that believe that China hasn't already fucking won.
Yeah.
Like, China tomorrow could just be like, yeah, no.
You guys are done.
You're done. They have to rectify with the fact that we won't buy their shit anymore. Mm-hmm. But we still would. Because people who listen to the Hillary Clinton podcast, unironically, would be like, well, Mandarin is a language I'm learning today. I mean, they just are willing to bend at everything, and so
yeah. So that was like nuclear weapons was her biggest national security concern. And then the rest of the questions were all really stupid questions, like really dumb, like the Broadway thing. There was a question about Hillary and Bill having jam sessions at home while Bill plays the sax and she plays something else.
Tambourine? What the fuck is she?
She's like, I don't play any instruments, but I watch my grandchildren play with him.
I mean, he does rip on the sax. I mean, like, no, it's actually kind of crazy. Like,
America's greatest saxophone player.
No. It's actually like historically important to know this. Like, so, he didn't really have like high black support in general, but like when he was running for president, he went on Arsenio Hall's show when he had like a talk show and fucking ripped on the sax like with his band, and it skyrocketed to the roof. I mean, and so he's not a bad saxophone player.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite question from the podcast, and I'll wrap it up here because this has gone on long enough. My favorite question was some dumb cunt calling in. It was a voicemail one saying, how important to you is comedy and getting through the day-to-day life that you live? And do you have any comedians or any comedy bits that you remember that you would like to tell us now?
Oh no, I Gio spoiled this for me, but I know where it's going. But how did she rationalize it?
So she's like, of course I need humor to get through my days, in the dark times we live in. And she mentions in order of like ascending awfulness, the three comedians she mentions, Jerry Seinfeld, which whatever, he's like the relatable comedian,
whatever,
who dates underage women,
children,
children, not underage
would
women.
fit her,
exactly, yep. Amy Schumer is her next one. She loves Amy Schumer because she loves her relatable content.
Which let hang on, because okay, so that is her having the hot sauce in her purse at the Sway in the Morning thing. By the way, we brought up the hot sauce thing with our black neighbors. What did they say? Like, they're like, bitch really did that? Yeah. They were like, they knew it was bullshit too. Yeah. Where has Amy Schumer been in the last fucking 7 years?
Right, exactly.
She's not. So what, are you watching her leather special where she fucking stuffed her fucking Pillsbury Doughboy body into like that fucking horrific leather outfit? Like, that's what you're still laughing at today? Which she isn't, which is why it's a fucking bullshit answer. So, and of course, the next one I know.
The third and final comedian she mentions is, of course, Hannah Gadsby.
And why? Like, what was her justification for this?
Of course, she's
I don't know, actually. It's like, why I'm asking.
Of course, Hillary's like, well, I love her. I mean, she's gay. She's on the autism spectrum, and she laughs when she says that for some reason.
Because it's funny. Like, even she has to break character and understand that having autism is funny.
Yeah, it's just like, and she's a woman, and it's like, was she really that funny? Like, she noted Hannah Gadsby's, and this is Nanette. If you guys don't know, we did a review of that before we even watched it. We did a review of Nanette. She mentions that like Nanette has these very like dark observations of humanity that are hilarious when in comedy form.
No, not
and
funny.
Like Hannah Gadsby was not funny. There's no part of her that is. She's not a comedian.
No,
it's a one-person show.
Yeah, no, and like, so like what? Her dark observations about humanity is like saying I've been raped, and then that was like where it ended. It was just kind of like, and men are terrible.
And
you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
You know,
and then she does that face, like the,
men, disgusting men.
Like eyebrows completely furrowed and mouth like in a sneer. Mm-hmm. Like she.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
She like looks around with her microphone.
Yeah.
I hate her so much. She's awful. But of course, Hillary Clinton is pretending to love Hannah Gadsby.
It just goes to show like the detachment. So like, Hannah Gadsby put out the one where like she said, I'm autistic.
Autistic. That was her second special. Yeah.
That didn't go anywhere. And Del Reese brought up the Dave Chappelle special we watched, which was like, it's pretty good. It like wasn't his like best one out of like the Netflix ones he's done, but like it was pretty good, obviously. And, you know, he goes hard on these kinds of issues. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, of course, like, the media zeitgeist hates it, but, like, every person who watched it liked it. And it's like, Hannah Gadsby's the opposite. It's like this weird kind of thing of, like, it's like with the Fauci documentary, too. It's like, audience review, 3%. Obviously, that's inflated. I'm sure, like...
The critic review on Dave Chappelle was 3%.
No, like...
And the audience was 97,
It was like
wasn't
27%. Audience score was like 90, whatever.
Jeez, dude.
And like Fauci, all these numbers are just reversed.
Yeah.
And like same with the net or whatever. But again, it's like this kind of thing of like, you, like, to people like Hillary Clinton, it's like Hannah Gadsby and her transgressive comedy. It's not, because nobody watches it. Like, Douglas came out, the one where she's like, I'm autistic and I'm annoying, and nobody watched it. Like, and even the fucking people that are hired to write reviews to fluff up this idea of the world that is dictated through art, which I think, you know, what Hannah Gadsby did is art, you know, in its own way. Like, I'm not gonna like say it's not. It is, but even they couldn't do it again. They did it with Nanette, where they're like, this is the best thing you've ever seen. With Douglas, they're just like, you know, no.
Yeah.
Like, we can't do this again. Like, you know, so even they were exhausted. And so that kind of goes to show you that it's just all bullshit. So,
yeah, of course.
And then Neoni says that Amy Schumer did the same thing as Margaret Cho with the leather outfit. Amy Schumer's special is literally called the Leather Special. So
awful.
And it's the last one. She did it at the
Gross.
fucking Apollo, which is also so funny to me. After she stole a bunch of Patrice O'Neill jokes,
Yeah.
it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was there something? Because you mentioned that there was something that I didn't see.
Mm-hmm. So, my goodness.
So I didn't see the Joe Rogan thing, but
So
you showed me enough of it.
We're gonna talk about Kamala a little bit.
You're considered the most liberal United States senator. Yeah. Well,
You landed haymakers on Joe Biden. How do you go from being such a passionate opponent?
It was a debate.
Holy shit. I forgot about this.
It was a debate.
God, she's faggot.
Yeah. So
She's so awful.
So she is just. They are attempting to desperately keep her out of the media because nobody likes her, right? And what they did for her was they say, okay, like, apparently the vice president's like the head of space something or other, right? So they got all these kids in to the White House that are like, oh, we are enthusiastic about being astronauts or whatever. Like, obviously it's, you know, it's like a Spanish textbook. It's like the kid in the wheelchair, like the black kid. Like,
yeah,
you know,
that Liberty Mutual commercial we saw.
Exactly, right? But it turns out that this video the White House put out, these kids were all hired actors from Canada. And so...
Not even hiring American laborers.
So when you see this, it's hilarious. Yeah. Like, and I can't take credit for this. Katie Halper said it, but she goes like... Kamala Harris seems like she's on something. And she's like the drunk woman at the bar. Like,
oh, God.
Yeah, so you'll see here. Come on.
I'm so nervous for this. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Well, welcome, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Ready to start? Okay, go.
So, I may not always be fast to take my parents' advice, but what is the best advice your parents have given you that perhaps you can share with us today?
So these already you can tell
these
they're
are
actors.
These are actors. These are Canadian actors.
Unbelievable.
You know, one of the most important pieces of advice that I can offer
Important pieces of advice. Like she like just listen to how drunk woman at the bar she is. Like it was such an accurate description.
This is
For you
wild.
guys, and I want you to really remember this. Never let anybody tell you who you are. You tell them who you are.
What does that even mean?
What?
Don't let anybody tell you who you are. You tell them who you are. Like, it's like that TikTok you showed me today of like the guy saying that the woman at the bar reminds him of his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she goes like, yeah, totally. Like she was like, she like rolled with it, which is like, this is
She was like, they're like drunk in a bodega or something, and she's like, yeah, my ex hasn't talked to me, and like I feel like I should reach out. Like, what do you think? And he goes, you remind me a lot of my ex, and she was awful.
And she just goes like,
she goes, yeah, totally, and it cuts off.
Yeah. So that's what. Yeah.
Never let anybody suggest to you that you are what they think you should be.
She's so drunk, or like on benzos or something.
Who you know you are.
Yeah.
What you intend to be. Got that?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
I got more advice.
Okay. Okay.
Ugh.
So what is the most surprising thing you found about?
You
So again,
gotta be kidding.
Do you notice
It's
the Spanish
so
textbook thing? Like, I mean, like
Yeah.
there is no way. Like, and so again, with the hindsight, this is not a joke. Like, these are all hired actors to do this video.
chosen to be
There have been a lot of
children
people
of
that haven't
color.
been vice president before, so there are many new things. But I'll tell you one of the things that I'm really excited about, and one of the reasons for our visit and the
Holy
time we're gonna
shit.
spend time together today is the Space Council. My mom was a scientist, so she would take us to the lab with her, like on the weekends, and
Oh my god, she's so drunk. She's
Yeah.
on something,
Like, yeah.
and they had to salvage what they could from this shoot.
Yeah.
after school because she had to work long hours. And I just love the idea of exploring the unknown. And then there's other things that we
Other things.
Please, I want to hear where this is going.
just haven't figured out or discovered yet. To think about so much that's out there that we still have to learn. Like, I love that. I love that. And so I'm very excited about the Space Council. We're going to learn so much.
That little Asian boy that's like, it's just like, it's so perfect. Hang on.
I love that, and so I'm very excited about the Space Council. We're going to learn so much as we increasingly, I think, are curious and interested in the potential for the discoveries and the work we can do in space. So that's one of the things I'm most excited about. But the other, you guys are going to see. You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes.
Oh my goodness.
With your own eyes. I'm
Oh my
telling you,
goodness.
it is gonna be unbelievable. So that's one of the things we can do here too, which makes it so exciting. So that's what we're gonna do. You guys ready to go over there?
Yes.
Come on, let's go.
Oh my god, she does not know how to sit, says Greg. And Faz, these kids are hired actors. They had hair and makeup done. They drove in from Canada.
They're not even American kids. Like, that's really important to know. Like, they hired, like, they went like for a casting call in Canada to hire kids to do this video for her. And so it really is that thing is like, again, like we've asked it a million times, like, are they fucking with us? Like, because we'd find this out.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, but
what was the reason for making them Canadian though? Like hiring them from Canada?
probably they
Because that's the budget to fly them in.
It's probably like non-union shit, but I also did wonder, like, was it because they feel like these little turds would keep their mouth shut, that this wasn't real?
That they aren't like of American families, you know, like if they were American families, they would go to school the next day and be like, yeah, I was hired by Kamala Harris to be in a video. It's
yeah.
like,
And also Canada's so cucked out that, like, you know, they would be totally for this.
They'd love her.
Yeah, they love her. Yeah. So, yeah, no,
Ugh.
it's funny. It is funny to me, but at the same time, it's like, it's also just like, again, it goes to all the shit. Like we've talked about for like the last, like since we've done mushrooms, essentially, just like nothing is real.
Yeah, it's all fake.
It's all fake.
It's a lie.
So,
Canada's just a suburb of America.
Yeah, essentially it is.
That is so funny.
They have
yeah.
the population of a peanut. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
they don't matter. But Trudeau is
More people live north of the southernmost border of Canada. More Americans, more United States citizens live north of the southernmost border of Canada than Canadians live south of the northernmost border, or in all of Canada, I mean.
Yep.
So like the entire population of Canada is not, it's like what, 3 million or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's about that. Yeah.
More Americans live in the uppermost states than do in all of Canada.
Yes.
Like the tiny sliver of land that is there south or north of the southernmost border of Canada. It's crazy, dude.
Canada's unincorporated Alaska. That's funny.
Dude, we will devour them one day.
Yeah, we need resources or something.
We need the resources, and they are just a small sacrifice.
It's like what's so funny to me too. Like, we had someone like used to listen to the podcast that like got all like cunty with me about politics, and I'm like, he's from Canada, and I'm just like, your country doesn't matter.
I think he wished me a happy birthday.
Oh, that's nice then.
And no, it was our engagement. He replied to. And then
not to me, because he didn't think that would go well for him, I think.
So replied to our engagement or something, and then like sent me like 9. I said thank you, and then he sent me like 9 more messages about like his upcoming election, and I can't do that. I can't read it, and I don't care about Canadian politics.
No.
I'm sorry. Like
They don't
when you
matter.
have
They
a
don't
population of over 30 million, if you have a 300 million population, like you are bigger than most countries. You're bigger than almost every country in the world.
And
you have nobody who lives there.
Like, what's he going to convince
Your
you
impact
of? Like,
is nothing.
that Trudeau, like, I mean, because like your only option is Trudeau or.
Yeah.
It's just like who, like that's like
I'm not
like,
interested.
And so like I unfortunately would respond to the 9 messages that would come in, and I was just like, I don't care. I don't care.
It's not for me. No. I read it, and I read it like a week later and then didn't reply. I feel bad, but like, look, like I can't do this.
Yeah.
You know, like if we were never friends.
No.
I'm not friends. That's some like
yeah.
parasocial thing that he's got going on that like he thinks we are, but we weren't.
Yeah, you said it better than I did, because like that's like basically what I told him. I'm like, you don't know me.
It's like, I mean, I experienced this when I was like a YouTuber back in the day, and we actually watched the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. We watched that movie, and it's basically like the earliest known like American fanboy story. But like back when I was a YouTuber in like 2015, 2016, even to like 2017, I think is when I stopped. Back in those days, like I amassed like probably about 4,000 people who were subscribed to my channel. Not a huge amount, but enough to like have, you know, like some Twitter followers who were very active, Instagram as well. There would be people who would latch on to you and think that you are closer than you actually are, and that's parasociality or whatever. They would think that they're closer to you, and they would ask you for advice. They would sometimes ask you for money, like mental help. Like, I'm depressed right now. What should I do? Like,
I'm not
like,
the person to
can you like review this video for me? I'm trying to become a YouTuber. It's like, I'm not that person for you because I don't know you. You probably feel like you know me because you watch me talk for, like, back then I was doing like 15 minutes a week. You've probably watched me talk for a few hours on end, so you think you know me. Maybe we've met in person at a convention or something, so you think you know me. You don't. And like this movie, to relate it back to that, like it really showed off like how you really shouldn't. It's two-sided. Shouldn't meet your heroes. You shouldn't have those heroes in the first place. Nobody that you watch on YouTube should be a hero of yours, or Twitch or whatever. Don't meet your heroes, but also don't befriend like people who are like extreme fans. You know, like there's obviously a line. Like, love all you guys, but
no. I mean, it's most like, you know, what pissed me off about him wasn't at all like it was that like the familiarity of like was confused. Like he'd heard me talk for so many hours. You know, at this point we have collectively probably over 200 hours of us talking.
Yeah.
And then I just was kind of saying that, like, yeah, like, it wasn't even a defense of Trump. It was just kind of like, yeah, like, you need to see what's going on here. And he's like, will you stop sucking Trump's dick for like and I'm like, all right,
you don't
dude.
know me like that. You
No,
can't talk to me
you
like
don't-
that.
yeah, you don't
exactly.
understand
Imagine, yeah, I could not imagine doing that to a stranger online.
No.
In like personal DMs, you know? Yeah, Greg says, don't worship anybody. Exactly.
Yeah. Dowry says, this has nothing to do with the topic, but can I ask to everyone, you all a question? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll wait for that. And then,
Yeah, because it's exactly 4 o'clock. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised we made it.
Mhm.
I didn't have a whole lot else to talk about today.
Yeah, the first part made me angry enough. I think that's usually like the advantage we have is if I'm like mad enough about something. But
I wonder what our neighbor's gonna have for cooking.
It's like
I think they mentioned burgers, right?
It's like a potato. It looks good though. Yeah.
It's a potato.
I'll show you.
Sweet. I can't wait to see. Do you have the menu?
Mhm.
Oh, great. So our neighbor does this awesome thing where they make she makes food like every weekend and like sells it as like a $15 plate, $20, $10 plate, depending on what it is. Oh yes. Okay, here we go. I love the angle of this. How it's taken as if the paper was flat and they did this to take the picture. All right, Saturday. Ooh, extra large baked stuffed potatoes. Yum. Chicken, white Alfredo sauce, cheese, carrots, green onion, bacon, tomatoes, broccoli, chili, nacho cheese, sour cream, zucchini, yellow squash mix. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
So do you want to like just walk over there with me and then order and then hang out and then you can leave after?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
Let's see.
Tell them about your
So behind me, Greg, he says, can I ask what this interesting top with a potential train and pantsuit situation is behind Sean? So I'm currently draping a design that I made myself. So I sketched it out and then I'm draping the fabric on the dress form. This is after having draped it and cut out the pattern pieces, or rather having draped it, traced the pattern pieces or the pieces of fabric that I draped, creating paper pattern pieces, cutting it out of a new fabric. This is my first mock-up of the design. It's basically it's a simple like princess seam top that's gonna have like pretty lightweight boning in it so it stays up, and then the skirt is going to be like a huge, like very deep pleats. Like you can see here, the pleats are like as deep as they are as the whole like bodice front. So like if it's from the center front to the pleat, it's like 3.5 inches. The actual depth of the pleat is double that, so it's 7 inches deep. Basically, it's going to be that pleated skirt, and then I'm probably, if there's enough of a flare, I'm going to do horsehair braid in the hem of that, and then I have 2 layers of basically like tulle. I'm going to use like organza or something nicer than just regular like netting or tulle. To do 2 layers of it over the skirt that will go over it. Very lightweight, so you can see through it. You can still see the skirt and stuff. And then the fabric that I'm going to use, it's over here. I think I actually showed it on a previous episode, but oh, thank you, sweetheart. But yeah, the fabric I'm going to use it's inside out right now, but it's this plaid here. So it's going to be like a plaid schoolgirl skirt. But yeah, horsehair braid in the hem. And then it's going to be a very delicate hem on the tulle, because I don't really know how to do it like a tulle hem, like a rolled hem. So I'm going to use horsehair braid in that too. But yeah, I'm very excited for it. It's going to be hopefully very cute. I tried on the dress form on Monday, on my actual dress form at school on Monday. And then, I should have it done in the next week or two. All right, so Dalreese's question.
Do you believe that what a person says when they are angry are their true feelings? A family and I had a misunderstanding, but she blew up and went on a mad homophobic ass rant. It's interesting, like, to juxtapose that with Brand's question. No, people like anger. I had like an expression about this the other day, like where it's like normally like when I'm angry about something, I'm usually deeply hurt. Like I'm really hurt by like, and hurt doesn't have to be like someone being like you're the worst person on the planet. It can be like also that your ideals kind of got trampled on, or like you feel like you weren't listened to or whatever. And so like anger is never, and so like it's up to you to not take someone's anger personally, which is not an easy task. But.
Yeah, when somebody is angry, I think they kind of pull out all the stops to defend themselves. I mean, like, they are probably feeling insecure or threatened in some way.
Insecure is the best word for it.
Insecure or threatened in some way to really drive home on something that they think you're insecure about. Or, so if you talk about, like, being gay or bisexual or whatever, they're going to see that as an opportunity to dig at you because they're angry with you.
And they know that,
they
like,
feel
it
threatened,
might
so they're
potentially
gonna
be
threaten
something you would take personally.
you.
So,
Mhm.
and it's
a tactic to win. It's a tactic to get
like,
you to crumble.
And it's like, and for someone to like mock that is like they're going for the most low hanging fruit. So like it's up to you to sort of realize that in real time, and then be like, yeah, no, this is they're desperate, they're flailing, like they have nothing.
Exactly.
And then that kind of goes to Brand's thing. I'm curious on what your guys' stance on straight people using the word faggot. Growing up in 90s, I'm not sure if I should drop it from my vocabulary. It's up to you, honestly. It's like, at this day and age, it's like, I'm not personally offended by the word. I don't give a shit.
Me
at all.
neither. I encourage my friends to say it.
I think it's funny to use it, but like that's our circle of friends. And so it's like, think of it like the N-word. Like, I don't really think that word is a fucking nuclear bomb. Like, in fact, like, especially when using it in context, using any of these words as an insult is kind of the point. Like, saying retarded, saying faggot, or the N-word is like some kind of insult. It's like, obviously you're going for the low-hanging fruit I just brought up. But at the same time, the fact that like these words are verboten is not productive to me at all. And I do find the word faggot pretty funny because like, I never really took it personally growing up. Like I always just like, especially like in a day and age like where, it wasn't synonymous with being gay. It was synonymous with just like you're a dumbass. Yeah. So and the N-word was never that. Like, so I know that comparison doesn't line up, but you get what I'm saying. So let's see here. Is that anything else?
Let's see. Yeah, just other stuff about the anger question or like the hard ass like rant on homosexuality.
Yeah, which I mean, just Delreese, just know she was desperate.
Walking away is the best thing you can do.
Yes.
Yeah, desperate to win this thing.
Walk away, but like not in a way that like you feel like you're vindicated in walking away of like this person's like stupid. Don't diminish it to that. Just be like, this is a really pathetic, sad person. And like it's like anything. It's like you guys know how I don't love like obese people, for example. But like if I was in an argument with a fat person about something that had nothing to do with them being fat, there's no way I'm gonna mock their weight to win the argument. Like it's so cheap and lazy. Just know that if someone's doing the same thing against you, it's cheap, lazy bullshit. Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, we might have to do like another advice show.
We should actually. Maybe we'll do that if we don't have anything to talk about next week. We can do that next week.
All right.
We can put comments on or we can do that on our Patreon. We can post the poll there or whatever, and then later on Instagram, I'll do a Q&A.
I think it'll sink in that they were wrong, and I cannot tell you guys how many times like I've not allowed myself to get upset over someone acting in some kind of way, and then 2 weeks later you get this long apology thing of like they were in the wrong. Because the thing is like if you don't like, people will double down on their thing, if like even if they were wrong, if you react in a way that like vindicates their anger or justifies it. If you don't, it's an interesting experiment for you guys to run. It's one of my favorite things in life is like just not letting somebody have not justifying somebody's anger, like where they have nothing, and then just being like, okay, all right, yeah, and then I guarantee you, like 7 times out of 10 you will get an apology for sure. It's bizarre. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. That was fun. See you guys next week. Bye bye.
Try